All right, guys, in today's video, we got to touch on the things that Keshawn Johnson, and not only Keshawn Johnson, but also a former football player and currently an analyst by the name of Joel Clatt. We're going to look at exactly what they said because they just exposed these opposing coaches plotting on Coach Prime's downfall, hating and trying to embarrass Coach Prime and his team. So let me go ahead and get into the details on exactly what's going on, and then I'm gonna play the audio clip so you guys can listen to exactly what Keshawn Johnson said and also the analyst Joel Clatt. So first and foremost, Joel Clatt, the former college football player, he has a relationship with a lot of these football college coaches. He knows Dan Lanning. He spoke with Dan Lanning plenty of times, and I'm gonna get to what exactly he stated, what these coaches think about Coach Prime and the Colorado team getting all this attention and all this shine. Well, Joe Clatt came out to the public and he admitted and said to the world that these coaches are plotting and hating on the success that Coach Prime is getting. They're trying to do everything in their power to embarrass this man. They're hating that Coach Prime is going to be able to recruit at the top end of college football. And the worst part about this situation is that Keshawn Johnson exposed and said that all these coaches came up with a game plan for Oregon to school Colorado and beat them in a very embarrassing way to where it will be a blowout. And this is pathetic, but it's not shocking. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna play the audio of what Joe Clatt said and listen to this because he's friends with Dan Lanning and he calls out Dan Lanning. He exposes Dan Lanning and all the opposing coaches. So take a listen to this and then we're gonna touch into what Keshawn Johnson said. So stay tuned. This is unfair. So if y'all don't mind, hit the like button because that'll be highly appreciated. And we got to get this video out. So make sure you guys share this video out. But we got to take a listen to this. Go ahead and take a listen.
I have a lot of thoughts. I think that let's start with this premise. There are fans and players and media that don't like what's going on at Colorado. They don't like the hype surrounding Colorado. Just like there were people that didn't like the hype surrounding Tim Tebow. Okay. But the group that dislikes it the most is opposing coaches. And I talked to these guys off the record, they despise it. They hate it. They hate the attention that Colorado is getting. They hate the fact that they know it's not going anywhere. They hate the fact that they know that this guy is going to be able to recruit at the top end of college football. They hate that 60 Minutes was there and that every show was there and that it's Deion all the time, everywhere. They hate it. And that's what you saw from Dan Lanning, was a guy that wanted to embarrass Colorado. Now, there is an obvious point, and I'm going to make this point with a preface. I really like Dan Lanning. I think he's excellent. I think Oregon is really good, and I'll get to that in a moment. This is going to be a little bit of a long answer, so I'm sorry.
We got all the time
Jimmy.
in the world. All the time in the world.
So, isn't it odd that you're decrying, if that's a word, you're frustrated with, your frustration is that they are in it for likes and clicks, and your answer is to invite cameras into your pregame speech?
Yeah, I thought the same thing. It seemed very hypocritical, yeah.
So it was planned and rehearsed, and he was out to embarrass them, But, to sit there and be like, they can win on YouTube, it's like, you're creating a video. That's all you're doing. You're creating a video that's not going on YouTube. It's going on network television. His comments at the half of like, I hope all those people are watching now. Well, guess what? They were. At least in the overnights, it was the top-rated game of the day over Ohio State Notre Dame, which is wild.
Is that right?
Bonkers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
In the overnights. Now, like the smaller markets have to come in. It might not end up being the top-rated game of the day, but in the major markets throughout the country, the top-rated game was a 5.3 rating, which is massive for Colorado, Oregon. It was a 5.0 for Notre Dame and Ohio State.
And by the way, that's going up against Alabama head-to-head.
That's exactly right.
Which is a TV juggernaut usually. Yeah.
So now let's go back. So Dan has a plan, and he's out to embarrass them. And he's going to do it, hell or high water. Cameras in the pregame, talking about likes. It's like if that was genuine, there'd be no cameras in the locker room. If you're really in it just for wins, there would be no camera in the locker room. That was an obvious kind of point to begin with. Now the more subtle point, and I think this is the one that I'm most excited about. Okay, if you really think about it, Dan is a smart guy, really smart guy. And he wouldn't do that unless he knew, he knew exactly what was going to happen. You know, he watches the film. He knows not only his team, but he knows the opposition. And he's like, nope, I know what we have. Or else he wouldn't do that. Cameras wouldn't be in there. He wouldn't be barking like that unless he knew that his team was an above the line, excellent team. And the thing about it is, Dan knows what it actually takes. So to me, it's like you look at his history, and he knows the speed it takes and the physicality it takes at the line of scrimmage, the quality quarterback play that it takes, and everything that it takes, because he's seen it. He has seen the modern standard, which is Georgia. He helped build Georgia. He helped recruit what Kirby has got going on at Georgia, right? The two-time defending national champion. And so when he does that and he's that confident, it tells me that he believes that Oregon is at that level. And that was a little bit of the subtext that I took away from it. One, he hates what's going on at Colorado. He was also in it for the likes, and he is uber confident in a team, and he knows what it's supposed to look like. So maybe we should all be uber confident in the Oregon Ducks. And they went out there and did exactly what he intended, which was embarrass Colorado. And Colorado played terrible, and more specifically, Shedeur played awful. You watching the tape in the first quarter of that game, there was zero anticipation. He missed some wide open throws and held the ball. And you can't do that in the small margin that they had as a 3-touchdown underdog.
And this is how you know this is true, because Keshawn Johnson himself on Undisputed, he put this out into the light. Nobody would have known about this unless these two guys put this out in the public. So now we got to listen to what Keshawn Johnson said. You can't make this stuff up.
This is his first year at the Power 5 level. This is his first year. They're 3-1. We can't sit up here and act like it's all doomed, it's over with, they'll never win another game. That's not true. They played against an Oregon team that is better. There's a better football team.
Bo Nix played.
And you mentioned
Bo Nix played well.
You know, you were talking about the jealousy and the way these coaches and how Deion got there. This is interesting you said that. I didn't want to interrupt you. I wanted to let you finish. So I spoke to somebody in the coaching fraternity right after the game. And they know some people that coach at Oregon. And they was telling me, they said, man, I've never heard from another assistant coach of how much information was being given to that staff about, I'm being real with it, about game planning against Colorado so they can beat them.
Well,
everybody was stacked. They was
stacking.
That's the reality of it. I ain't making this up. No. I ain't gonna disclose no names, but y'all know who I'm talking about if you watch it. So,
right here.
You know.
All right.
Now, this is not shocking to me at all, but in my opinion, this just feels personally unfair. This is just straight up hate at its finest, and this needs to be covered. This can't just be put in the dark. This has to come out to the light, and something needs to be resolved about this situation. Because if they're doing that with Oregon, what are the chances they're going to probably do this to another team? Because we know that they don't want to see Colorado shine. We know coaches and players and the media don't like seeing Coach Prime and his team shine. So we got to go ahead and share this out. So if you guys don't mind sharing this video, that would be highly appreciated. And if you stayed to the end, I really appreciate that so much. I definitely want to hear you guys' opinions on this situation. So if you guys want to get in the comments and state how you feel about this, feel free to leave a comment down below. I love when you guys engage and I read you guys' comments. So let me hear your thoughts and opinions. But that's all I got for you guys. Until next time, I'm out.